Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing the ultimate Harry Potter tag. I was very kindly tagged by Simone from Me and Simone and I, who I will link down below. I'll also link her video, it's really good, you should go check it out. I am obsessed with Harry Potter. I don't know how much it comes across because I don't really talk about it a lot on this channel, but I own a lot of Harry Potter stuff. I'm basically waiting until I can move into my own place, and I have like Harry Potter cushions, Harry Potter coasters, I've got blankets, I've got bags, I've got t-shirts. This is an example of one of my Harry Potter t-shirts. So I'm very happy to be tagged in this. I watched the films very recently. I watched them kind of November to December time. We did a rewatch of all the films. And I reread the books 2 years ago, and I am planning to reread them this year, but my memory of the books is less good. I've only read them about twice, apart from the earlier ones, which I read loads and loads as a kid. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from as a fan. So let's start the tag. So the first question is, what is your favourite book? Mine is and always will be Prisoner of Azkaban. I think it's got one of the most interesting stories. I really like that it's got time travel, it's got werewolves in, it's kind of dark but not too dark. It's right before the series goes into the whole Voldemort stuff, and yeah, I just think it's a really fun time. My least favourite book is harder for me to pick because, like I said, I'm going to reread them this year, so I'll probably have a better idea once I do that, but I think I'm going to go with Half-Blood Prince. I'm not really sure why, I just think it's the least interesting in terms of story. It might be Order of the Phoenix, but yeah, until I reread them I can't say for certain. So the next thing is, what is your favourite movie? Mine is once again Prisoner of Azkaban. I think it's a really well-paced movie. I don't think it's too long. I think it's shot really well. It translates the books really well. Obviously it misses out the whole Marauders map stuff and it doesn't really explain it properly, but that never bothered me because I had read the books. It's got some of the best acting in it, I think. I like a lot of it, even if it's got some terrible moments. But yeah, it's my favourite one by far. My least favourite movie is again a tough one. I think it is either... I was going to say Half-Blood Prince, but that's not true. I don't hate it as much as I kind of feel like I do. But I think it has to be Deathly Hallows Part 1. Both Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows Part 1 annoyed me because they missed out so much of the books that I don't understand how you can follow the plot if you haven't read the books, because nothing makes sense. And I think Deathly Hallows was slightly worse for that, because I remember them missing out huge key details in terms of hunting for the Horcruxes and all that, and they seem to find a bunch of Horcruxes but they never get told. You never get told how they found them or anything. So yeah, I'll say Deathly Hallows Part 1. The next thing is, what is your favourite quote? And this is a tough one because I was like, oh, there won't be that many, and there's actually hundreds. So this applies more when I was younger, but always I think is still very powerful. I do not like Snape in any way, shape or form. Snape is a problem. But the whole concept of what that quote means, and I'm a sucker. Even though the situation isn't romantic to me anymore, I'm still a sucker for the idea that people will just be devoted to another person for their entire lives, so I have to mention it. I also really like, if you want to know what a man's like, look at how he treats his inferiors. I've probably not quoted that word for word, I'm kind of going off the top of my head. But I think that's a really powerful statement and very, very true. I always judge people based on how kind they are, not to me, but to other people, particularly service industry people, for example, because I think that tells you a lot about people. And I also really, really like the final lines of the final book. By the way, spoiler warning, I don't think I'm just gonna talk freely, so I'll probably spoil stuff, so spoiler warning from here on out. But the final lines, all was well, I think that's just really nice. Again, I know there's some debate about this and people won't agree with me, but I think that was a good way to end it. It's very a British summary to kind of be like, it's okay now, everything is over. And then Cursed Child happened. We get on to favourite characters, so who's your favourite Weasley? I think it has to be Ginny. I love Book Ginny. Again, I won't know more until I reread them, but I remember Book Ginny is awesome and great, and I love her. So she's probably my favourite Weasley. Favourite female character? I have to say Hermione. Again, book Hermione is a bit less likeable than movie Hermione, but you know, she's a girl who is badass and reads and is basically, let's face it, dealing with a lot of dead weight from Harry and Ron, so of course I love Hermione. Find me a bookworm who doesn't love Hermione, come on. Next one is your favourite villain. If we're going by the books, I have to say Draco. I don't know if he really counts as a villain, but he definitely, I fall into the camp of Draco definitely deserved better than he got in terms of the ending. I think he was completely redeemable, certainly more redeemable than Snape, and I would have liked to have heard more of Draco's story. I know that it's told from Harry's point of view, but I think a lot of stuff that happens with Draco, and particularly all the stuff with Moaning Myrtle and the whole Death Eater stuff, I think that's all really interesting, and while it couldn't really be focused on more on the story, I think it's a shame that it wasn't. If we're going by movies, Barty Crouch is really fun. Barty Crouch Jr. really fun to watch because he's played by David Tennant and he does it really well. Yeah. Next one is who's your favourite male character? Based off the books, I'm going to say Harry, because Harry in the books is so sassy. I absolutely love it. I don't know why that went in the movies, but he's just so funny to read, and that was one of the things that surprised me most when I reread them 2 years ago, was how funny a character he is, because that's, like I said, it's not in the movies and it should be. Harry deserves more love. He's not as bland. Not that Daniel Radcliffe doesn't do a great job, but he's like, in the books he's a peak guy. The next prompt is who is your favourite professor? I was gonna say Dumbledore. I do love Dumbledore. I'm not with the people who say that Dumbledore is a problem and that he's abusive towards Harry or anything like that. I love Dumbledore, but I think my real favourite is Lupin. Lupin is great. He's just the only adult who's got his shit together, who, you know, looks after Harry properly the way an adult should, and is smart and sensible, and I love Lupin. Lupin deserves so much better than he got. So the next set are kind of would you rathers, so I'm just going to read them because I'm not going to be able to memorise them. So we have, would you rather wash Snape's hair or spend a day listening to Lockhart rant about himself? This is a tough one. I'd probably pick Lockhart because I'm okay at tuning people out, and also I'm the type of person who would actually argue with Lockhart and he'd probably kick me out of his office long before the day was over, so I'm going to go with Lockhart. The next one is, would you rather duel an elated Bellatrix or an angry Molly? I'm gonna go with angry Molly because Bellatrix is shooting to kill. Angry Molly absolutely destroyed Bellatrix, but if you are not an evil person, I like to think that her anger would wane, and you know, she's not gonna try and kill me because she's Molly, you know. So I would pick her because I'm not gonna die. Next one is, would you rather travel to Hogwarts via Hogwarts Express or a flying car? The Express. I love travelling by train anyway, it's my favourite way to travel. If it's a magical train with that delicious food cart and the really cosy carriage compartments and everything, then I don't know why you wouldn't pick that, to be honest. The flying car was pretty terrifying. Next one is, would you rather kiss Voldemort or give Umbridge a bubble bath? I don't know, I'll pick bubble bath because I don't want Voldemort anywhere near me, and also he'd probably kill me for it. Whereas at least Umbridge, if I pour her a bubble bath, kind of like sneak in some poison, or I'd do like a spell so the bubbles start exploding and splattering her with colours, or you know, something like that. I could probably mess with it. Not that I'd be brave enough to mess with Umbridge, but I could pretend I would. And the final would you rather is, would you rather ride a hippogriff or ride a firebolt? Hippogriff, 100%. I love the magical creatures, I love Buckbeak, I love all of that kind of thing. So I would absolutely ride that hippogriff, who, you know, brooms do not compare to an amazing living creature. Next question is there a character that you feel differently about in the movies versus the books? There are so many of these, but the main one that I'm going to focus on is Sirius Black, because Sirius Black in the movie is pretty likeable. He's a decent guy. He's alright. He's very he's got a really good presence. In the books, he is absolutely unforgivable in my opinion. He is whiny, he's petulant, he is so awful to Harry. He tries to emotionally manipulate him. He blames him for not being his father. Like, Sirius in the books made me so angry when I reread them, and yeah, I just think he's completely unlikable in the books, and in the movies he's great, so he's definitely the main one. Next question is there a movie that you preferred over the books? I don't think there is. Like I said, when I reread them I'll have to double check on this, but I'm pretty sure I think all the books are better than the movies. Yeah, maybe Goblet of Fire, potentially, because that is a really solid movie, and I think the stuff they cut out of Goblet of Fire is fair enough, but I'm not 100% on my memory here, so I could be wrong. The next thing is, what is your top thing that wasn't included in the movies that annoys you the most? I could have a whole rant about this, and I may do once I finished rereading the books, but I think the main one is how they handled the Horcruxes, and I can't go into too much detail because I don't remember how it was in the books, but I distinctly remember when I watched the final two movies that they don't explain really important stuff, like how they know which Horcruxes are which, how they know how many there are. I don't remember if they cover that in detail. I just remember there being so many issues that I was like, if you haven't read the books, this does not make any sense. You'll think there's like 1,000 plot holes, and there really isn't. So that's probably the top thing that bothers me. The next question is, if you could remake any of the Harry Potter movies, which one would you pick? I think I'd pick Half-Blood Prince. I think it's the one that is kind of... I don't think it's a bad film. I think it's a bit lost in its direction, and I think they kind of cut so much from the story as a whole that they couldn't really do much with this movie. So it would be a very loose remake. It would be like a little tweak here and there, as opposed to like remake the whole thing. This question is, which house did you have a gut feeling that you would be part of first? And I have to say Ravenclaw for this. When I was younger, I was adamant I was a Ravenclaw. I distinctly remember having a mild fight when I went to university with my friends because they insisted I was a Hufflepuff, and I was annoyed because in my heart I was a Ravenclaw. The next question is, what house were you actually sorted into? I was sorted into Hufflepuff. I now accept my Hufflepuffdom. I think that is definitely the house that fits me the best with my nature. However, I do think I'm a Huffleclaw because I still admire a lot of the traits from Ravenclaw. I have a lot of Ravenclaw merchandise. I've got t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. But Hufflepuff does represent my ideals more, just because I will always prioritise people over knowledge, and also I again, it sounds vain to say, but I work extremely hard, and that is very much a Hufflepuff trait, so yeah, I am a Hufflepuff. The next question is, which class would be your favourite? It would be Care of Magical Creatures. Absolutely. Like I already said, I'm obsessed with the magical creatures. I would love to learn how to look after them, and that would literally be my dream career in that world, just caring for dangerous monsters, to be honest. Question is, which spell do you think would be most useful to learn? I'm going to have to go with Accio, because obviously, I imagine if you didn't have to get up for everything, that makes me sound incredibly lazy, but it would save so much time. And also, on a similar vein, it's not really a spell, but if I could teleport, that would be really good. That would be my dream thing, just because of the amount of time I'd save. All my friends live far away and I could just go and visit them like that. That would be amazing. The next question was a tough one, and it is, which character do you think you'd instantly become best friends with? If age is no issue, then I would say Lupin, because I think teenage Lupin would be quite similar to me, and like that would probably be the person I'd be closest to. Otherwise, I don't think I'd actually get on that well with Hermione because I think we're almost too similar, and particularly Hermione in the books is very proud, and I don't respond well to people who put their pride above other things. So I would probably say maybe Harry or maybe Neville for similar reasons, that they're just kind of normal people. Neville's a bit kind of put upon, and I tend to make friends with the nerds because I am a nerd, and Harry's just like, he reminds me of one of my closest friends from uni, and that's kind of why, because we were so close, and he's just like a nice guy. The next question is, if you could own one of the 3 Hallows, which one would you pick? I think you have to pick the cloak. Like, Resurrection Stone, if it worked, would be great, but the cloak is clearly the most useful. It's the one that works the best out of all of them. So yeah, you have to pick the cloak, don't you? The next question is there any aspect of the books that you would change? I have 3 aspects. So number 1, add some queer characters. And number 2, I would like Neville and Luna to end up together. They do in the movies, they don't in the books. I think their relationship works really well. I think it's a great idea. And I think it should have happened in the books. Third thing is very, very specific to me, and it's my own headcanon. But with Fred and George, I can't believe I've forgotten which one dies, but whoever dies, in my head, they become a poltergeist. Because can you imagine Fred and George still running their shop, but one of them is a poltergeist like Peeves? Like, that is so on brand. That would be the perfect thing. In my head, that's what happens. That's not what happens, because I know from reading the lore that poltergeists are formed when people die sad, and I specifically died with a smile on his face. But yeah, that is what would happen, and that is what happens in my head, because that's the perfect solution for me. Like, they can still be together, and also one of them's now a pranking ghost. Next question is, who's your favourite marauder? As I have said, it is Lupin. The next question is, if you could bring one character to life, who would it be? I struggled with this one again, but I would say either Hedwig or probably more likely I would pick Lupin, purely because I understand what J.K. Rowling was doing, but I don't like that the cycle has been repeated, so that Teddy is now an orphan and Harry is the godfather. Like, I just would have liked it if that wasn't the case, because while it does, like, thematically it kind of makes sense, it's still really sad, and the ending could have done with a bit more joy. And the final question is, Hallows or Horcruxes? Obviously Hallows. I'm not going to kill anyone, and I don't want to splinter my soul. So that was the ultimate Harry Potter tag. I really enjoyed doing this. I might redo it once I've reread all the books, because like I said, I know a couple of my answers were sketchy and I don't remember all the details, so mega fans will probably be screaming at me. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. I'm going to tag Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books and Anna Francesca, who I will link both of them down below, because I know they're both Harry Potter fans and I checked their channels and I don't think they've done it yet. So hopefully you'll both enjoy doing this. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively. Comment down below with your answers, or if you've done this video, because I'd love to do more like Harry Potter discussion stuff with people. I haven't talked about it a lot and I do love it a lot. Yeah, and I hope to see you next time.